Hi, this is Dan from the House of Broken Dobbs Things, and happy Saturday. It's raining in Michigan. It's 40-some degrees here today. Just yucky outside. Wife's had a tough week. She's in spring break next week, so she's taking it easy. So I have full permission this afternoon to go out and goof off. So here we are. I want to bring you something a little different today. Really nothing's broke per se, but we're going to demonstrate something that I came across which I thought was really neat. And I think Chirpy is going to really enjoy this one. So, I'm going to punch a hole in this, just straight scrap aluminum here. The reason I'm doing that is I want to demonstrate this drill bit. Gee, Dan, thanks. It's the first drill bit we've ever seen. No, it's not quite like that. But this is a cheap, sprayed gold and called good bit from you-know-where. So anyway, we're going to do that real quick, and then we're going to get into the subject of this. Alright, I am using, by the way, my old Delta drill press here. Shop's not fully completely cleaned yet, Peter, but we're working on it. I don't want to make Pierre feel all by himself in Quebec. So anyway, we're going to punch a hole in this real quick. Hey, it's got some wear, got some wobble, it's all good. We'll go from there. And this is just, like I said, straight aluminum. Not going to use any pre-lube on it or anything. I'm just going to blow a hole in it. Okay, yeah, that looks a lot like we thought it was going to look, Dan. You don't have a real good grind on the bit. It's not doing a great job. It's throwing chips like we would expect. Okay. And it's taking longer than it should if the bit was really sharp. Okay, great. Alright. So, no surprises. Now, I'm going to bring on the surprise. I'll bring you right back. Okay, and welcome back. The surprise today is a very, very old tool. It's a Commadner Chip Breaker. This thing is ancient. It's at least 60 years old, from what I can tell, and probably much older than that. I've cleaned away the chips from the previous drilling, from the first hole we punched in it. Same bit, same everything, with the exception of its same drill speed. Everything's there. Now, the Commadner is much like a tapping head. It has a reaction member that you need to have installed. So in this case, it's just going to swing around here, and it doesn't have a lot of force. It's going to swing around here, and it's going to tap on my C-clamp. Now, I'll show you, and then I'll kind of talk about it for just a little bit, but I want to show you what it does. It's kind of crazy, and I think Chirpy will think it's pretty cool. Okay, here we go. Okay. Whoa! Malfunction. Safety Nazis, where are you? Okay, one more. There we go. Oh, look at that. Nice setup, Dan. Alright, I'll bring you right back. Okay, continuing on. Alright, we are through. Grab something to sample those with. Okay, I think you could see those pretty well, and with rare exception, there's the initial chips in the first bit, and there's some of the second one in there too. But notice any difference? This pile of stringy, gooey whatever, and this nice tidy little pile of very concentrated little chips. Bring those up so you can see them. Now I've had one apart. I actually have two, and near as I can do enough research, this thing was put together back in the day to allow you to get through tougher materials and not get a gigantic pile of chips flying around all over the place. It provided a nice tidy little chip, and it also provided the ability to get the chips cleared, as opposed to being this having to work its way all around the bit and come its way out of there. These other ones would just be cracked and chipped up into little bitty broken chips, and they would evacuate much more readily. So it allowed it to drill and keep drilling and not have to slow down to clear chips. That's as near as I can find. Again, it's really, really old. They're very uncommon that I can find. I mean, you'll see one occasionally on eBay, but not very often. I don't know that I've seen anybody do a video on one, but anyway, I just wanted to show that to you. Kind of a quick video here, but it was pretty interesting. Now, let me describe what I found when I took one apart. It has a little oil sump right here. I've got to get a press-in gib for that. And inside this chamber here, there are a set of balls on a little ramped assembly inside. And I'm not taking it apart because it was a booger to get it back together. They're under spring pressure, and as this thing tightens up into a drill where it's biting, that actually causes the balls to ramp up, and they go in, expand in the ring against the spring pressure, and then as soon as that pressure is relieved, they snap back down and they hit it again. So they just keep hitting like almost like a drill impact. I've tried it a couple of times with different size drill bits. It works actually extremely well. I got this from that seller I told you about. His dad picked it up, and the guys at the screw shop never used it. They had no idea if it worked or didn't work, and they said, well, so I did some research on it, and I decided that, you know what, that sounds pretty interesting. And I gave, I don't know, a couple dollars for it. But it's pretty cool. This one is getting back into good shape. I mean, it hasn't been ran in a long time. I had a little bit of boogering going on in my Morse Taper 2 on this old Delta. So before you guys got here, I had already taken these and cleaned up the bore. Morse Taper 2 chasers. This one really didn't need to do much with because it's a roughing. But for the finish one, I took just a little bit. Now, this is hard. So this is hardened inside, so it really doesn't do much. It basically knocks down the small dogs and children as far as what's built up inside. And then this had a little booger inside it from probably they didn't have it tight, and then it just spun, and it basically had a little bit of a arc around the outside edge of it. But that was a quick one. I wanted to share that with you because it was just pretty cool. So, Chirpy, I hope you enjoyed that one. This is you and I both love the old technology because it seems to work really well even today. So with that, I'm going to phase into another aspect. I'll bring you back. Okay, welcome back. This is going to be one of our next projects for all of us here. This is a Boyar Schultz Challenger surface grinder. It is in what looks like maybe not super condition, but it actually is. The gentleman that had it, it was gifted to me, and prior to that it was used to regrind rocker arms on the big block Fords, the old FE series. The gentleman specialized in that, and then when he got done with it, he sold it. as happened so many times. It's fully functional. Everything works pretty well with one exception. As far as all of this, I don't have a lot of play. I think he kept it up very well. I don't have a lot of play, but what I do have is a noise issue. Okay, standard, and if you listen, okay, inside of there is a joint. I believe the joint on this one is absolutely completely gone. This is what we're going to install. You see that? The nylon or whatever plastic they use to isolate that joint, and I forget the exact phrase for it, but you can hear it. So that's abnormal. Now it's back here in the corner, and we're going to have to drag it out to get access to the back of it, because the only way you can get this the spindle head and the motor separated from where that joint is you have to take the motor off the back. And it's kind of heavy, kind of clunky, but I just want to share with you what we had coming up as far as a repair. Something's always broke. It's almost like this is a house of broken Dobbs things. While I'm there, I promised Peter I would show off something. This is a radius dresser, and I got this and then I fixed it, and it works absolutely great. Again, this is for cutting radius on your wheel, and do whatever you like to it. And JB from Oz actually has almost an identical twin to it, so I always had to laugh about that, because I also have the twin to the grinding 5C grinding attachment. Max Grant has that, so it's kind of funny how even though we're continents away, we've got some of the same stuff, which is amazing because a lot of it's old. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you and share that this is what we're going to be working on here very shortly. I don't think it'll be a big repair. You'll laugh at me, but I actually surfaced a cylinder head with this thing, an aluminum cylinder head, and I actually did a pretty good job, and it actually worked out well. I got a ton of grinding wheels that came with it. I really have done nothing more than invest some whey oil in it and plug it in. That was it. So it's actually worked out really well. I didn't have to invest a lot of time in it. I just had to go to Indiana to get it. So we'll be working on that, and just want to bring you more or less a what's coming up, and we'll bring you right back. Okay, welcome back. This is another tool I wanted to show you. This is a Barnes Camelback drill press, and it's been custom modified, Lord knows when, by I have no idea. According to my local source, this is a Willys transmission on the back, giving it gear reduction. It originally was, I believe, a line shaft machine. I'm not certain of that. I have no way to check its vintage because their stuff is a little sketchy. I can tell you that it is extremely heavy, and it does a beautiful job of cutting and drilling. And it is running on 220 single phase into the transmission, and then up to this shaft right here. And I had to do a couple of modifications to get it back in running shape, but it rattles and clatters and thunders and booms, and it is really just kind of cool to use. The tag, that's basically the seller's information, but on the opposite side it's a WP Barnes, and that was from Rockford, Illinois. Who knows where. 2 oil ports that I know of right here on the back of this one. Yeah, I have some clearance in this shaft going through the transfer gears right here. It doesn't seem to affect it. Surprisingly enough, this has a counterweight. It's still all there. You can hear that. It helped pull itself up. It was rusted when I got it, and I cleaned it all up. And from here, I'll break that loose, a couple of turns. This thing is really heavy. It moves just like glass. That's that's pretty interesting to me, because it's like, man, this thing's heavy. And from that, I actually have a drill commander on there as well. I'll bring you in a little bit closer and we'll punch something through some steel. Uh-oh, you can see that I was punching some much bigger holes. These are fabulous when it comes to punching big holes in stuff. They can turn very slow, and they have all the leverage you would expect. I mean, I've got almost a 3-foot bar out on the side here where I can just heave down on something. And of course the drill bits are much bigger, but I just want to share with you this one while we were goofing around. Nothing really needs to be fixed on it. I'll get the camera around here, we'll watch the drilling, but actually, yeah, you can actually see it. There's a handle on this side over here that releases the gear mechanism, and then I can roll it up and down with this lever and so forth. This mechanism across here, this shaft was broke when I got it. I had to fix that, and I got to get you down here close. This looks like the lunar surface. It's just been drilled on. It's at least 100 years old, as near as I can tell. There's not that many of them around. You'll see them occasionally. A lot of them are broken, busted. This does not have power feed. Some of them have a mechanical power feed. This one does not. And you can see that the Hackmaster 9000 spent some time with this at one juncture, but he really didn't hurt it. Okay, so let me get things moved around and I'll bring you around and we'll watch this little thing rumble. Okay, battery's about dead on this. I may have to change batteries, but I'll get us started. I'm not going to use any lube because this is the junk bit and the junk metal, but we're going to give it a whirl. I'm going to grab this right out of the gate. It doesn't have a ton of force that's required, but it does need to be. If catching it while it's spinning is always fun. Okay, same kind of chips, no long stringy chips, and it just does it. Okay, so I'm going to change batteries and I'm going to bring you back and we're going to put it through just to maybe something a little extra. Okay, yeah, I'm still cluttered, but not as cluttered as I was last time. Just for those of you that don't know, this is where you go ahead and put your drift through. This is a number 2 drift, but it worked fine. My number 3 is in that drawer, but guess what? I'm not going to grab it. Okay, we took that out. One thing that you'll have if you have one of these old barns is you need to rotate it around because there's a slot that comes through. If you look at it straight on, you may not see it, but when you rotate it around, the opening to put this drift in will actually come up. Okay, so just so you can see it, we've got a Morse taper 3-bit. I don't know what size. It's always tough. Hold on, this is a Cleveland 29/32, I think. Yeah, if that'll come across so you can see it or not. There you go, 29/32. Just a random bit. Not a great grind, nothing fresh. I just wanted to throw it in here. Give you an idea. Okay. Lock it in. I usually just a little something. Walking out like that is always no fun. There's the drill commander and its glory. Sure, right there. Now, if you notice, That is a huge, heavy plate. Move it without any effort whatsoever. It's awesome. Okay, and you'll excuse me for having the everybody's love to hate these little drill vices, but you know, they're cheap and they're everywhere. Okay, just for argument's sake, come down in here, and this is the lock for the vertical, and you lock it down here, and then there is a twist arm. It's going to be tough to show you. Actually, you see it right here. If you can see it, yeah, right here is a twist arm. You just crank this around, and it lifts it up with no effort. If you try to move that up by yourself, good luck, pal. It is heavy. Okay, same thing again. Okay, again, just some junk material. I get this off so I don't have that sticker on your way. Here, so you can see it. We're sparing no expense tonight. Now, this particular one here, there's no OSHA on this bad boy. It will kill you, and it won't even laugh. So if you're messing with one of these things, try to be safe as you can, because I've got one clamp on here, and that's probably really stupid. But we're only going through a thin piece of metal. If you had something big on here, you'd really want to bolt this thing down. But this surface is so erratic, I'm not really doing it for anything precision, because it just needs to be completely surfaced off. Hey, wait a minute. I need a really big lathe to do that. Maybe I'll find a friend someday. Anyway, we're going to fire this bad boy up, and we're going to go through this. And with no pilot, and what was it, 25-30 seconds, and we're going to go. Oh, one thing. Excuse me. I need to put it back in gear. Okay. All right, let's see if we accidentally put it in reverse. We did. There we go. And we're going to get fancy. Variable speed. So we're going to show off the slow. There we go. Slow, here we go. Now you can see that arm that comes out for the leverage. Yeah, this isn't your little Delta. That's a really big hole without a pilot, and this is really dumb and unfair, but this thing, it doesn't care. Sort of like drill bit drill, Hulk smash. That's what this thing does. Now let's say you get to the point where you don't think you have the right leverage. You just go ahead and pull this handle, choke up, and take another bite at it. Yeah. It doesn't care. Okay, that that looked like it was going to have some fun coming back out of there. Here we go. Give it a little bit something else. But you can see having a gigantic stroke on that thing is fantastic. It didn't care. It just cut its way right through there. Brutal force. It's just like the ancestors in this kind of thing did. So I wanted to show this one to you because I'm really proud of it, because it's big and monster. And no, it's not a big radial press or anything like that. But, you know, darn it, I could put a cylinder block in the space that I've got right here and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. But once again, it was nearly nothing. So, and there's a safety catch here to just keep it from unspooling, right like that. Okay, so this is Dan. I'm gonna be putting it up for today, and I just want to show you those couple of things. Hope you found it interesting. I do. And if you like the content, consider subscribing. And those of you that are already subscribed, I thank you for your patience as we go through all this stuff. And sorry nothing was really broken today, but I showed you one thing that we're going to be working on, the surface grinder. That should be an interesting repair. And we'll get started on that pretty soon, actually. And thanks for watching this big old drill press. It's just fun. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you enough. It's just fun. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm going to borrow from Brian Block there. And hope you all have a great weekend.